Hey, welcome to the show. It's Wednesday, March 16th. It's the AEW Dynamite post show. Tonight, Thunder Rosa is your new AEW Women's Champion, beating Britt Baker in a steel cage main event. Brian Firth is excited about it already. Johnny North is excited. We're talking Dynamite. We're talking AEW. Let's get this thing started. Happy 316 day. What? I said happy 316 day. What? Got my Stone Cold buddy here with me. Stone Cold Steve Austin. What? It's 316 day. Stone Cold Day. The day we all celebrate the Texas Rattlesnake. Thunder Rosa celebrating the Texas Rattlesnake tonight. You notice she had 316 written on the back of her pants? That was cool.
It's hard not to notice. I mean, you saw her backside a lot.
Johnny North, you're looking at Thunder Rosa's backside? Shame on you, Johnny. How dare you?
I mean,
a little respect for the women and their wrestling. Just looking at the backside. No, we're just kidding around. Of course, the women had a bloodbath in the main event tonight. Thunder Rosa wearing the Stone Cold inspired gear. Britt Baker wearing the Scott Hall inspired gear. Rest in peace to the bad guy. Too sweet. We love you, bad guy. You see that? Britt Baker's gear kind of had the Scott Hall drip there on it. It was good.
That was nice. Nice touch.
Brian Firth wasting no time. Thank you, Brian, dropping a super chat before the show even started. He says, hey, guys, the chemistry that Rosa Baker is incredible. I agree. I thought that they had a fantastic match tonight. Didn't love the finish, but overall I thought the match was really good. Talking to Johnny before the show, I know he had some problems with it, which we will discuss. I'm guessing it's not going to be Johnny's match of the night. I think it's got to be for me. I liked it. But there were a couple other matches that I liked on the show tonight as well. Shout out to Anthony Plesia. Shout out to Brian Firth. Shout out to Ray Cruz. Angelo Contagonis. All the members checking in tonight. Join.ringsidereport.net is where you need to go. Become a member. If you are a member, you can give us a call on the show. Talk to us about AEW. Let's talk about the main event. Let's talk about the new champion, AEW Women's Champion, now Thunder Rosa. This was what we expected. It was a hometown feel for Thunder Rosa in San Antonio. They set up the steel cage match, giving Thunder another shot after she just beat Britt Baker at the pay-per-view a couple of weeks ago, giving her this match in the cage in San Antonio. You kind of felt going into it that a title change was going to happen. But I didn't care about that. I thought Britt could win, although the crowd would not have liked that. Very hot crowd, top to bottom. The Hardys were really over. The pop that Jeff Hardy got when he did his hot tag was crazy. Place went nuts for that hot tag.
It's good when you do a hot tag right. It helps.
Yeah, right? My goodness, they went banana for Jeff Hardy, and they went crazy for Thunder Rosa, too. Got a hero's welcome. The all-female mariachi band that played before Thunder Rosa made her entrance was fantastic. I tweeted out that pro wrestling needs more mariachi. I loved it. Angelo's right. The crowd was really into the match. The crowd was hot all night in San Antonio, Texas, home of the Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels. I thought the match was good. Britt was bleeding pretty quickly right off the bat. Didn't take long for the blood to flow. We went to commercial. Stuff was happening in the picture-in-picture. When we came back, Thunder was bleeding profusely as well. She smashed Britt with a chair, hit her with a stunner. Gotta love hitting the stunner on 316 Day. The ref at one point got hit with a super kick, and he bumped over the top rope to the floor. Thunder hit her finisher, but there was no ref to count the three. Thunder went to the top rope. Britt smacked her with a chair and set up like a bed of chairs. A lot of setting up of chairs from Britt Baker tonight. Two spots, and I know one John didn't like, which we'll get to in a minute. The bed of chairs was not bad. Although it did take a while to set it up. And then the finish, the move that she hit on it was pretty damn impressive. Like I don't know what Excalibur was calling it, an Avalanche Super Driver 99 or whatever. I call it a Celtic Cross, a Sheamus Slam, you know? Where he tucks the head, grabs you behind the, you know? And then falls backwards, and Britt dropped Thunder pretty hard on that bed of chairs. That was a good one, though, right? Like, the payoff to that setup was pretty good.
I had no problem with that, but I just found a lot of this match was just a car crash, pretty much. And, it's not their fault in the sense that it's just set up poorly where you can go on the outside in a cage match. Like, the whole point of a cage match is you're confined there, but they're on the outside for a good chunk of it.
Yeah.
It wasn't really a cage match.
I mean, it was. They were in a cage.
Use hardcore matches.
Yeah.
It's just a hardcore match in a cage.
Yeah. It felt more like a Hell in a Cell style match than a steel cage match. You know?
Pretty much, yeah.
Because those Hell in a Cell matches, a lot of the times they don't really use the cage. They're just kind of doing a hardcore match in a confined space. And that's what this match felt like. The cage didn't have a top, so it wasn't a Hell in a Cell, but they weren't really climbing the cage. They went to the top rope a lot, but they didn't do any climbing of the cage. They didn't do any of the traditional cage match spots. I don't even know if you could have won by escaping the cage.
Yeah, I mean, because I don't know if they even said that.
No one attempted it. You would think that this type of match would be tailor-made for Britt Baker,
Dave,
the cowardly...
I think I lost you, Dave.
Can you hear me? John, can you hear me? You lost me? Lost me? I have no idea, honestly. Can I get a sign?
What was the last thing you said, exactly?
I have no idea. Can I get a sign from somebody that we're on or not? Anybody? I have no idea, honestly. Oh, maybe we are. Hold on, I think we are. On or not? Anybody? There we go. Okay, there we go. Now I'm seeing that we're on. I think maybe we glitched out, John. Are you with me, John?
I can hear you.
Oh, okay.
If you can hear me, hopefully.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there. I think we glitched out mid-show. I don't know. I think maybe our internet died or something? Is everybody still with me? Yeah. We're talking about the steel cage match and Britt Baker, and I thought, that this would be tailor-made for a heel like Britt Baker to try and escape the cage and climb out and escape Thunder Rosa. Like, that would be a good way to kind of set up the match and tell the story of the match. Kind of do a story-based match instead of what we saw tonight, which was a more hardcore match, which we've seen before from these two. Oh, Ray says we're still there. I don't know what happened there. That was weird. Apparently our internet froze out on our end, which is very rare. But the stream stayed alive, so we're okay. But they could have done that, right? With Britt, had her try and escape the cage, do that style match, but no one made any kind of attempt to escape the cage. It didn't seem like Thank you, Angelo. It didn't seem like that was even a stipulation of this match. Like, going into it, they didn't tell us how you would win or lose, right? There's no Thunder went for they went for covers. You could obviously win by pinfall, but can you win by escaping the cage?
I don't know, Dave, if you can hear me again or not, or...
What? Is this happening again? John, are you with me? What is internet issues? Well, that sucks. John, can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
God damn, pal.
It's a bad night tonight, unfortunately.
Yeah, we had another freeze out. Like, what is with these technical issues here tonight? This internet is freezing out on us tonight, which is really strange because we have top-of-the-line connection. I don't know who I have to call to make this right, but shouldn't be happening. Anyhow, I liked the match. I thought it was match of the night, John. I don't care what you think about it. Like, I do care what you think about it. Obviously, that's why you're here. But
it's fine. You can disagree with me.
I just disagree. Like, I think... No, I don't think it was your internet, Ryan. I think it was us. I think we froze. I think we froze. I don't know what's happening with us. Hopefully it doesn't happen again. Maybe it's like a outage somewhere.
Well, it's fun that you like the match. I just felt that, it's false advertising. It's supposed to be a steel cage match, but it really didn't feel like a steel cage match. It felt like a hardcore match inside of a cage, pretty much. And
yeah,
it to me, it just turned into a spot fest for the most part.
But can't you accept
they stopped
it?
Selling for
can't you accept it for what it is? Like, okay, it's not a steel cage match in a traditional sense, but they did a lot of stuff. Like they did. The slam that Britt did, the Celtic Cross on the bed of chairs, was pretty good. Britt setting up the table, the card table, the castle of chairs. You know what I mean? Like when you build like a castle of cards.
Well, I thought, to me, like the best match tonight was the Hardys match. I don't know what you thought about that match, but to me, like crowd reaction wise, like. It was there, and it was just refreshing to see the Hardys again teaming. Wasn't exactly a perfect match, but to me, I thought it was the best thing that I saw tonight.
The Hardys match?
Yeah, that was the best thing I saw in terms of like actual like a match.
I like I thought the Thunder Rosa Britt Baker match was probably the best match. Let's try and wrap that one up. I don't know what's happening tonight, but it's kind of a pain in the ass, to be honest. But I guess we got to wrap up the rest of Dynamite. The finish I didn't like. To the Britt Thunder match. I did not love the finish.
They rushed it.
Yeah. Yeah, the House of Cards I didn't love either. They did a big setup for the thing, and then Britt set up a big House of Cards of chairs. Britt falls off onto it. And Britt didn't kind of crash through everything. She just kind of hit one chair and flew off. It looked painful, but I don't think it had the impact that they were going for. And then the thumbtacks came out. I mean, they brought everything out. There was no chair. There's no tables. I don't think nobody went through a table.
No.
But there was a lot of chairs and then thumbtacks. And Thunder got backdropped on thumbtacks for a 2 count. Britt put a glove on, went for the lockjaw. Thunder bit her, got out of it, smashed Britt's hand into some thumbtacks, hit a power bomb on Britt into tacks, and then Britt rolled out of the ring. Right? The finish was weird. Thunder hits a power bomb on Britt. Britt rolls out of the ring. She goes for a chair. The ref seems to be talking to them like, get back in the ring because it's 9:59. So Britt gets hit with a powerbomb onto tacks, rolls out of the ring to avoid getting pinned, grabs a chair for some reason, kind of swings wildly at Thunder, doesn't really hit her. Thunder and Britt both kind of stumble back into the ring. Thunder grabs Britt, drags her into just kind of leads her into the middle of the ring, picks her up, Thunder driver into the tacks 1, 2, 3. It seemed like a rush finish. It seemed like they had more planned, but they ran out of time.
And this is a big thing, too, with matches. Like, if you have a bad finish, that's the last thing people remember. So that kind of stands out, like, as a sore thumb, in a sense, where that can ruin a lot of good work that you just put into that match. Because if the finish comes out like that, it just feels like the match wasn't successful.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that they did enough good stuff that it doesn't ruin the match for me. I think they did well enough that it doesn't totally kill the match, but I know what you mean. And I'm a little bit surprised. Like, that's going to be my match of the night because they worked so hard. They did so much. They took a lot. They both bled. It wasn't perfect, but I thought it was the most exciting match, the most important match on the show. So I'm giving it my match of the night. The Hardys and Private Party, I'm a little bit surprised that you're giving match of the night. It was pretty good, but it wasn't it wouldn't be my second best match of the night. So I'm surprised you're giving it the number 1 spot for you.
To me, just keeping it simple is the best. Like, you don't need to do a bunch of crazy spots. Like, just keep it simple wrestling. that works, and the crowd loved it. Like just having Jeff come in at the end, that works.
Yeah, Jeff didn't do that much, right? He just kind of got the hot tag. Crowd went nuts for him, but crowd was really hot for the hot tag. Went bananas. But after that, he didn't do that much. The swanton he hit on Isaiah for the finish was nasty. He landed full body right on Isaiah, who was just crushing him. Probably broke some ribs.
We've seen Jeff lately do that quite a few times, actually. I don't know if he's doing it on purpose or not, but he's been doing it quite a few times, I feel. He did in WWE not too long ago as well.
Well, I think the alternative would be him kind of taking a good chunk of that on his ass and legs and hips. And I think he's kind of done doing that, so he's just going to land flat on you. Right? Like, if you want to avoid landing flat on the guy, you kind of skid off of him and you take the brunt of the fall. But I think he's like, oh, fuck that. I'm not doing that anymore.
Well, I got no problem. I think it looks better the way he does it now, actually. Like, I like it like it just crushes the guy.
Yeah, I mean, it crushes the guy. But I've heard it's terrible to take. Like, I've heard people recently talking about Jeff Hardy, and they're like, it's the stiffest move in all of wrestling.
And Isaiah's a very small guy, too, so I can't imagine that felt well for him, but...
Crushed him.
He's tough. He'll take it.
Yeah, well, he's tough, he's young, and he's going to have to take it. After the match, Andrade, Butcher, The Blade, The Bunny, The Private Party, they all advanced on the Hardys. They didn't actually get in the ring. They just kind of circled them, given plenty of time for Sting and Darby Allin to show up and make their save. Darby with a skateboard, Sting with the bat. They get in the ring. Andrade and the Goons don't even try to attack them on the ramp when they outnumber them like 4-1. They let them get in the ring and stand there with the Hardys, and then they decide to leave. Andrade's team does not look that good. And Sting and Darby now just back up for whoever needs backup at any given time. They're like the superheroes of AEW. CM Punk needs a friend. Here comes Sting and Darby. The Hardys need some friends. Here comes Sting and Darby. Okay. I mean, whatever. I don't care. It doesn't really bother me, but it's just like, is this their role now? I don't understand.
Yeah, I feel like that's what they pretty much do. Whenever there's injustice, they'll show up. Whenever it feels like there's a team that needs saving or something, like ultimate good guys, they'll come help them out pretty much. Like Punk, like you said.
Yeah, where was Punk tonight?
Well, I like that they're not using Punk. I mean, you're just in a brutal match, that dog collar match. You don't need to have Punk on for a while, I think. Let him sell that.
Didn't he win?
Yeah, you win, but it's still a brutal match.
Yeah, but MJF lost and he's on TV.
Well, they needed MJF tonight, though. There was a good reason for that.
Yeah.
What was Punk going to do? Like a promo? That was it? Like, yeah, you could save that.
What is Punk doing?
Well, I feel like he's going to go for the world title, but it feels like Adam Cole's going to do that first, I think.
Mm-hmm. Again?
Yeah, well, after tonight, I mean, they won, right? So he has to get another title shot.
Yeah, I like that match. The opener, Hangman and the Jurassic Boys versus Adam Cole, Kyle O'Reilly, and Bobby Fish. The undisputed Cole friends won. Cole hit his boom knee to Jungle Boy for the win. At one point, Hangman, Jungle Boy, and Lucha did a triple moonsault off one post that got the crowd pretty excited. At a certain point in the match, everybody was in the ring doing all sorts of stuff, and nobody was tagging, and it didn't seem to matter who was a legal man or not. And then they're like, okay, it's back to tag wrestling, and Bobby Fish goes back in the corner, and he's like, tag. And it's like, you were already in the ring. He was in the ring doing a bunch of stuff, and then he walks to the corner, he's like, tag, and he's like, okay, now I'm really in the match. It's like, well, everybody was in the match at that point. I don't love when they do that, when the ref just completely loses control, but it does provide for some exciting spots. But it ceases to be a wrestling match at that point and just begins to be a a circus act, right?
Well, I didn't mind the first match, but it just became too much. Like, it went through a commercial break, and like you said, like, it just stopped being a tag match. It just became a spot fest.
Mm-hmm.
Not that it was bad, but it just didn't make a lot of sense in the end. It was just move for moves.
Yeah, I thought it was good, but it was just, it was, like you said, it was just kind of a lot of moves and no real cohesion in the match, but that's what you see with the Jurassic guys a lot. Keith Lee and Ricky Starks and Will Hobbs are all interviewed at the same time, and Starks and Lee seem to have some sort of feud going on, but they're not wrestling each other. Like, they're trash-talking each other. They're not wrestling each other. Keith Lee's going to wrestle Max Caster on Rampage, and Ricky Starks is, like, talking to the Acclaimed, Max Caster and his partner there. Backstage later on in the show, Ricky Starks tells those guys, hey, you better beat up Keith Lee on Rampage because we're sick of these guys coming in and stealing what's ours, you know, tired of guys coming in from other companies and taking our spot type of thing. And then Swerve Scott, who's one of those guys, is like, oh, you're tired of people coming in and taking what's yours? How about we have a match on Rampage? And I'm not sure if that got made official, but why would Ricky Starks be feuding with Keith Lee and they not wrestle? Like, what? What the hell is this? Like, he's very concerned with Keith Lee getting beat up, and then he doesn't actually ever wrestle Keith Lee, and then he's going to probably wrestle Swerve instead, and then Keith Lee's going to wrestle Max Caster for some reason. Like, if Ricky Starks and Keith Lee want to wrestle each other so bad, why don't they just do it?
I guess it's a big match they want to do probably on Dynamite, not on Rampage. It's going to be on like 11:30, so I can understand that.
I guess.
You can catch the special start time on this one?
Yeah. Rampage is going to be at 11:30? I thought 11. 11:30? Good God.
I thought I heard 11:30. Either way, it's late.
Yeah, I don't know if I'll stay up and watch Rampage on Friday night. Harold Schneider dropping a super chat. He says, just came home. Can you please start over? Sorry, Harold.
I already did.
Yeah, we kind of did already. Like, we had a bunch of technical glitches. The show almost ended like 10 minutes ago, to be honest. I could have just ended it. I thought about it. I don't know what happened with the internet. We seem to be fine now, right? Like, everything's good? Like, the first 10 minutes of the show were a total clusterfuck, and now everything is, like, fine again. What happened?
Sounds like a Dynamite.
Yeah. Dynamite's bleeding into our show, goddammit. So, yeah, I don't know what this show's going to look like when it's a full video later, but I guess it'll be half and half. I don't know. Enjoy the live show while you have it. So thank you, Harold. Brian Firth is our super chat leader. He dropped the super chat on the other video that we started before. That died out because the internet just crapped out on us. It seems to be fine now. I liked what we had next on the show. The Jon Moxley, Bryan Danielson versus Chuck Taylor and Wheeler Yuta match. I thought that was maybe the best match of the night, next to the Thunder and Britt match, which I liked, but I really liked this tag match here too. William Regal on commentary, Bryan and Moxley beating up Yuta. Yuta taking the yes kicks from Bryan, asking for more. Bryan kind of smiling like, okay, and then he gave him more, laid it in. Bryan hit him with a Saito suplex, bridged for the cover. Yuta kicked out at 2. Bryan kind of smiled like, okay, this kid's got something. And the crowd actually chanted Yuta. That's how good Bryan Danielson is. He can make anybody look good. The crowd actually chanting for Yuta. I don't think I've ever heard a Wheeler Yuta chant or even a reaction for Wheeler Yuta. But Bryan Danielson and Jon Moxley as well made Yuta look like $1 million here. They get the win over Chuck and Wheeler. Moxley putting the bulldog choke on Wheeler, making him tap. William Regal came down to the ring after the match, and Wheeler left with Trent and Chuck and Orange and Danhausen, that whole group. Starts to leave after the match, after losing, but then decides to go back in the ring and leave his friends on the ramp. Wheeler goes to shake Regal's hand. Regal doesn't shake his hand, slaps Yuta instead. And Yuta then kind of, puffs his chest out at Regal, and then Bryan and Moxley kind of surround Wheeler like, yeah, you don't want to do that, my friend. And then Regal says, you better leave. You've done good, but you better leave the ring before you get yourself into trouble. I thought that was fantastic. It was a great match, great post-match little thing there with Wheeler Yuta. He recognizes he's with a crew of complete jabronis, and he wants to be with the cool guys. He wants to be with the real wrestlers. I think Wheeler Yuta is the type of performer that would do really well with this group, and away from the other group of just kind of goofballs. The Orange and Danhausen and Trent and Chuck goofball circus. Get away from there, Wheeler. Go with the serious wrestlers. If I had to come to the ring and Danhausen and Orange Cassidy were my backup, I'd be looking for greener pastures as well. But it looks like Regal's not impressed with Wheeler enough. And I wonder, will the best friends accept him back in the group now that he's shown that he's willing to leave them at any moment? Interesting segment there. Made Wheeler Yuta interesting. That's a first.
Yeah, this was fine. I had no problem with it, but I mean, it was pretty much just an elaborate squash match. Like, for the most part, Moxley and Danielson just pretty much dominated them. I feel like Chuck Taylor got a bit of offense in, but not that much, and not to the extent where it's like, now it feels like they're going to come back on this match. Like, that never really happened. They pretty much just got destroyed.
I like to see Bryan Danielson beat people up. I got no problem with that.
It's fine, but I mean, it was kind of long, though. Like, you don't need to go through a commercial break and beat them up. They're still beating them up, some more. Like, it didn't need to be that long.
It's Bryan Danielson. You let him in the ring as long as you possibly can have him. I got no problem with it. I got no problem with anything Bryan's doing. I like this group, too. They're kind of baby faces, but they're also kind of heels. Like, they're heels, right? But people love them.
I don't know if they're going to be heels, because, like, Regal was talking about how they're pro wrestlers, and now we have a heel group that's anti-pro wrestlers. So I feel like they might go against them, I think.
I could see that. It would make sense. We'll get to the Jericho thing in a minute here. FTR interviewed backstage about firing Tully and needing to make a change with their manager. And then the Young Bucks arrive and they say, hey, you can hire the best there is, the best manager in the world, but in the end, you'll always be the second best tag team in AEW. So I guess the Bucks and FTR are going back into some sort of program. And Young Bucks also teasing the rumor, the best there is, the rumor that Bret Hart might actually be the FTR's manager at some point, which I think would be kind of cool. You think they're going to do that? You think Bret will do that?
Well, they kind of say themselves in a sense. They said the best there is, and then they said best manager. I mean, Bret was never really a manager.
No,
I think he
but
was in Natty's corner once.
You know what they're doing there. Come on.
Yeah, but it's also the way of them getting out of it, too. Like, they didn't mean Bret. They meant some other guy who's a really good manager. It could be Arn Anderson. I could definitely see that.
Yeah, replacing Tully with Arn. I guess. Arn needs a guy. Arn's not going back to WWE with Cody? Is Cody even going to WWE?
Yeah, I think Cody's going to wrestle Seth Rollins.
Yeah. Thought he'd show up at the end of Raw in Jacksonville, though. Seemed like the time. No Cody.
Yeah, but I still think he's going to show up. I mean, if you look at the possibilities, like Cody's the best choice, really, when you think about it.
Yeah, for Seth, I mean, what the hell else is he going to do? Raw in Chicago on Monday, also been a hub for AEW, so maybe that's when Cody comes back. Or maybe he just shows up at WrestleMania, or maybe he doesn't. I don't know. Chris Jericho knows about the WWE because he's a sports entertainer. The Jericho Appreciation Society come to the ring. And Big Magic, who's now going under his real name, what did Jericho say it was? Matt Menard? John? Did I lose John? I think John's frozen. Am I still on? John!
I can hear you again, Dave. What's
yeah.
up?
I didn't die out. I think you died out there. What is happening tonight? John! I don't think John can hear me. I think I lost Johnny. What the hell is going on tonight? I lost Johnny. I'm still on, but I got no John. We'll get Johnny back, I think. Oh, this has been a disaster of a show. You gotta laugh, I guess. Laugh instead of crying. Don't know. I think me and Johnny probably have the same internet provider, and that internet provider is screwing up tonight. I think that's what's going on. We'll find out if we get Johnny back. Hopefully we do get Johnny back. The Jericho Appreciation Society, they come to the ring, and 2.0, they're talking about Jericho and how the fans love to sing Jericho's theme, and they have Jericho to thank for it. And they say that Jericho's contributions to the industry and contributions as a human being should be appreciated by everyone. Oh, Johnny's internet is dead. He just texted me. And now I'm asking him what provider he has, because if we have the same provider, I'm going to name them and blame it on them and curse them for the rest of the show. Oh, man. Hit me up on Super Chat. Give me some support tonight, guys. I need some support. I need some motivation. I got no Johnny now. I lost Johnny. God damn, pal. I can't believe I lost Johnny. All right. So they're talking about Jericho and how Jericho's great. And Jericho gets on the mic and talks about how great he is. He says, you know, the universe has been around for 4.5 billion years, and we're all lucky enough to be alive during the Chris Jericho era, which, you know, is true. I mean, as wrestling fans, you know, we saw, I mean, a lot of us, you know, people my age or older, we saw the whole entirety of Chris Jericho's career, and it was fantastic. From the Lionheart Chris Jericho to Y2J to the List of Jericho to Le Champion to what he is today. And the crowd was cheering Jericho. They're like, yeah, you're right. You're pretty awesome, Jericho. Johnny has some weird off-brand internet provider. I guess internet is dropping out everywhere tonight around the city. I don't know what's happening. Oh, man. So I think we lost Johnny. I don't know if he can come back. Oh, I think maybe we got him back. John, are you back?
For now.
What the hell is happening? The first glitches that was my internet, and now your internet. And this is not something that ever happens with us. I mean, this is an AJ thing. AJ would usually drop out and disappear, but you never disappear. And neither do I. We're usually the most secure connections on the whole Ringside Report network, but there you go.
Well, you don't have anyone call in now. So it's always nice if someone calls in.
Yeah. Thank you, Brian Firth, dropping a super chat. Someone call in to help Dave out. Doug thinks it's Russia. I don't think it's Russia hacking. I don't think it was Russia. Brian, you are the super chat leader of the night. Thank you, Brian. And thank you, Harold, for dropping super chats tonight. Keeping us going. Keeping us motivated to remain in business.
Getting lights on.
Yeah.
Well, we're almost through Dynamite, I think.
Yeah, see, what you have, John, what you have is a reseller of Videotron. Okay? This is a Videotron problem tonight. Videotron screwed us. What you have from the information that I get is like an offshoot of Videotron. It's not technically Videotron, but that's what you're getting. And that's who I have too, so that's why we're having problems tonight, because obviously Videotron is screwing up and they're having outages. So that's what's happening tonight. Hopefully this won't happen again. I doubt it will. It's usually fine. But tonight, I blame Videotron. I wasn't going to name and shame, but now that I know that it's the problem for you and me tonight, you got to bury Videotron. Super chat. All right? Super chat. Ray Cruz dropping a super chat. He says, tonight is like watching a James Bond movie and then Batman shows up. Off the rails, but still awesome. Thank you, Ray.
That's good to hear.
Yeah. It is off the rails. But we're trying to give you as much wrestling talk as possible because, I watched this 2-hour episode of Dynamite and I took notes and I want it to be worth something. So that's why we're doing the show. I mean, I didn't take these notes for nothing. You know what I mean? Coming on here, I got to do a show. What am I going to do with these notes if there's no show, John? Pointless. Did all this work for nothing.
Could always sell them part of our merch. Dave's notes.
Yeah, buy my notes. I don't know if anybody would want to buy that, but I will sell them if you want them. I'll send you my notes if you want. Drop a $5 super chat with your email address, and I will email you my notes for AEW Dynamite tonight. How about that? For $5, I'll send you a copy of the notes. And say, drop your email address, and I'll send you the notes if you want them. I don't think anybody wants them, John, but we'll see. We'll see. Good suggestion. The crowd was behind Jericho, I thought. People liked Jericho. When 2.0 was talking about how, Jericho's this and Jericho's that, and he's the best, and Jericho has been around forever, and Jericho's talking about how we're lucky enough to be alive during the Jericho era, I thought, yeah, got to see his whole wrestling career. It's been pretty awesome. And the crowd was kind of like, yeah, we like you, Jericho.
Right.
He was a babyface a bit. But then he kind of turned and said, we're not like the AEW roster. These guys, they're all professional wrestlers, but we're better than that. Professional wrestlers have never been stars. Professional wrestlers have never been millionaires or transcended the industry because I'm not a professional wrestler. And to be a true star in this business, you have to be what I am, a sports entertainer, which got boos. Of course, the crowd doesn't like when you're a sports entertainer. They don't like sports entertainment. And then Daniel Garcia looked like he was getting mad because he's kind of the wrestler guy of the group. He really has no promo ability or character or anything. He's just wrestling. And he says, well, if you're going to sit there and call yourself a sports entertainer, then I'm a sports entertainer too. And he kind of got that smug look on his face. And I was like, God damn, Daniel Garcia has personality. Look at that. That's pretty good.
Kind of.
I mean, he showed more personality in that little promo than he did ever in his AEW career prior. Right?
Fair enough, but that was still really not much of anything, but
I'll take it, Sean. I'll take my fair enough from you. I get you so rarely to agree with me 100%, but fair enough is good enough for me. But he had some flair. He had a little pizzazz. And Jericho says, 2.0, now they're going to use their real names, and I didn't really hear what he called them. Matt Menard and... Do you know?
Something Parker still.
Angelo Parker?
Possibly.
I think they called him Angelo Parker.
I found it funny, though, that he ripped on how 2.0 is a bad name from Bad Creative. When that was the name they came up with themselves, that wasn't a WWE name.
Did he say 2.0 was a bad name?
From Bad Creative, yeah.
Or no, because that was never their name in 2.0. They were Everrise.
Right, but I think he mixed it up, Jericho.
I think he meant to say that their wrestling names were bad WWE names because they were called Chase Parker and Matt Martell in WWE.
But I thought they changed it, though. I thought they were calling him Big Magic.
Yeah.
He changed it again.
Yeah, I don't know what the hell his name is now. Right?
I don't know if they really need another name change, really, to be honest, but okay.
Daddy Magic, Matt Menard, and Cool Hand Angelo Parker is what they're calling themselves. I don't even know if that's their real names, but Jericho says that's their real names. And he got a call from his good friend Kevin Owens, Kevin Steen, who said that he's got...
Knows a Kevin.
Yeah, I mean, everybody knows who he's talking about there when he says my friend Kevin. And he says, he asked me to put his friends here, 2.0, on Talk is Jericho. They just got fired from somewhere, WWE. And, have them on your podcast, maybe get them a job with AEW. And Jericho did, and that's why these guys are indebted to Jericho. And Hager says that they're the Jericho Appreciation Society, the JAS, and they're here to beat up pro wrestlers. It was all right.
I feel like it could have been better. I think Jericho shouldn't come out with the Judas song anymore. If you're going to be a heel, you can't really come out with that song, I don't think. And, if you want to be heels, you shouldn't build, sympathy for these guys. They got fired, I got them a job, Danny Garcia was in a horrible car accident, but he fought through it, still a wrestler. People are clapping afterwards, I think that was the wrong way of going about this to introduce them.
I think they managed to turn the crowd against them by the end of the promo, though.
Halfway. I feel like they're booing parts of it, but not completely, though.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I thought the promo was entertaining and it was interesting, but I don't know if they are a hated heel group off of this. And I don't know if feuding with Eddie Kingston and Santana and Ortiz is going to do it. I don't know.
We'll see. Eddie can cut a good promo. I think that might help a lot, but time will tell. He took a nasty powerbomb last week. It might be a while before we see him.
I thought Jericho's promo was really good, though, when he was talking about people forgetting about him and kind of forgetting that he is who he is. And
There were moments in this promo that was okay, but
yeah,
overall,
and it's true.
It was kind of all over the place.
Jericho's lost a lot of weight. He's got himself in really good shape in the past few months, and that is, apparent. I saw a picture of Jericho from a few months ago and then compared with a picture of Jericho from, last week. He's really got himself back in tremendous shape. There was a while there where Jericho was looking a little like he might be done. But over the past few months, he's really kind of changed himself up, given himself a slightly updated look. Again, it's like a new Jericho. He always evolves. And he's done it again. I thought it was really good. But, yeah, I don't know what they are yet. His Jericho Appreciation Society. How about Scorpio Sky and Wardlow? Scorpio gets the win to retain the TNT title tonight. Paige Van Zant, Dan Lambert, Paige's husband, Austin Vanderford. They were all ringside during this match. Ethan Page not there. I guess isn't he Scorpio's partner? I don't know. Whatever. So Paige Van Zant was there, and she gets into Wardlow's face, or ringside, during the match, and Wardlow flexes his pecs at her, which gets Austin Vanderford in between them, and he gets in Wardlow's face, and Wardlow kind of goes like, what are you going to do? And then in response, he starts making out with his wife, Paige Van Zant, in front of Wardlow. That's his, that's what I'm going to do. And Wardlow's like, okay. And then he grabs him and he brings him down between his legs to powerbomb him. But then Scorpio kicks Wardlow and used it as a distraction to take over and get some heat on Wardlow during the commercial. That was a weird moment during the match. What are you going to do about it? I'm going to kiss my wife right in front of you. Okay. I'm going to powerbomb you. I don't know. It was weird.
It was just weird. The whole setup to that was just you would never see that. In any kind of fight whatsoever.
Nope.
Not even really you should see that ever in wrestling, to be honest. I don't know why that happened, but that happened.
Yeah. Get in my face. What are you going to do about it? I'm going to kiss my wife in front of you. Oh, okay. That's weird. I guess, Paige got in his face, and Wardlow was kind of flexing his pecs to kind of be like, hey, look at me, Paige Van Zant. Why don't you want to be with Wardlow, And Austin Vanderford, took exception to it, I suppose. And then he kissed her to show Wardlow. It's like, oh, you can't have her. She's mine. I think that's what they were trying to do. I really do. But it was not well put together. It was odd. Because it just seemed like Wardlow wanted to fight Austin Vanderford. And he's like, what are you going to do, Vanderford? And he's like, I'm going to kiss my wife. Nothing, Mr. Wardlow. Anyways.
Yeah, Austin didn't come off very strong in this. He also, got his butt kicked, very easily, too, when he got in the ring.
Yeah. Well, maybe if he was a Bellator middleweight champion, he'd be treated with a little bit more respect. But he lost to Gegard Mousasi a couple weeks ago, so... Lost to him real badly in the first round, too. Got knocked out. So maybe there's residual stuff off of that. Wardlow had Scorpio Sky beat, but of course Shawn Spears, his old buddy, shows up with a chair on the ramp, and the referee goes to stop Shawn Spears. Not sure why the referee left the ring to go say, hey, Shawn Spears, don't get involved. But by doing so, the referee was distracted, which allowed MJF to come from behind, run Wardlow into the ring post. Wardlow looked all dizzy. He rolls back in the ring and gets rolled up by Scorpio for the win. Didn't love that finish either. It seemed to take Wardlow way too long off the corner bump by MJF to come back in the ring and take that pin from Scorpio. Wasn't that a little too long in between?
Well, I think they wanted to sell it more because there was a lot going on. So in case people maybe missed it, and if they did miss it, at least you'd understand, something happened at least. So I think that's probably why they did that.
Yeah. But in the meantime, it makes Wardlow look kind of bad. He's looked really strong, for a while. Mm-hmm. And then he gets beat like that. It's kind of like, well, what did you really get beat by? MJF running you into the ring post outside the ring, and that's it. Scorpio, he didn't have his feet on the ropes. He didn't have a fistful of tights. He didn't even cheat to win on the roll-up. He just beat him clean after MJF just ran him into the ring post, which really isn't that devastating. Right. He didn't take a very devastating maneuver, and then he kind of sold it for a little too long before getting in the ring and getting pinned off of nothing. You know what I mean? He got pinned really off nothing. Scorpio just rolled him up, and Wardlow couldn't kick out. It was so long after the MJF, bump into the post that it kind of looked like, well, Scorpio just rolled him up and pinned him. like he got beat like a total loser in the ring, you know? And then as soon as that happened, Evander Ford jumps in. He starts punching Wardlow. Spears and Scorpio join in. Wardlow fights them off quite easily, though. And then MJF was left alone and looked afraid, but Wardlow didn't get his chance to beat up MJF because the heels came back in, started beating up Wardlow, left him laying. And then MJF gave Dan Lambert money in the ring, so we're clear that MJF is paying Dan Lambert for his services, and they're not a big group. I don't know if you have to do this in the ring, maybe a promo next week. Like, it was kind of like you have your enemy there down. You're going to pull out a stack of money to give to Dan Lambert here at this time. Like, now is when you have to pay him. And then as soon as you pay him, Lambert and his whole team, they all just leave. Did MJF get his money's worth? Like, shouldn't you stay as backup just in case Wardlow kind of kicks out, revives, and starts beating you up again? But, of course, that didn't happen because Lambert and his crew left, and then MJF got to hit Wardlow in the face with the diamond ring. But it was just MJF and Spears in the ring at that point. Wardlow's kind of shaking off beatings before. What if he kind of, like, shakes the cobwebs off, and it's MJF and Spears, and then MJF's in trouble? He paid off these people, but they left. I didn't like that. The paying off of the Lambert and the whole thing. You know, MJF and Wardlow are doing their thing now, and okay. But there was a lot of kind of Dan Lambert, Paige Van Zandt, extra stuff happening in this one that kind of turned me off.
Well, that's why things kind of went slow, because there's a lot of factors around ringside, and I feel like they needed to get people away from what was going on to sell MJF, hitting him with the ring. So I think that's why they did the whole payoff thing. Plus, they don't have to do a promo now. It's all explained by just that one action.
Yeah, I guess. But, like, I don't know. When you're paying somebody off for a beating, do you give the money to them, like, right after the beating in front of a big crowd? During the beating? I feel like that's a move that the $1 Million Man might make, but MJF, like, it's just kind of weird. I don't know. Whatever. MJF and Wardlow. Who wins that match? MJF or Wardlow when they finally have it? MJF, right? He's got to find a way to win. He just lost to Punk. But they've been building Wardlow pretty hard. Like, it's a question.
It's tough. I would go MJF just because I feel like they've been pushing him for a longer period of time. And, like, he's won big matches. They put him on pay-per-view matches. And he kind of needs that next big win if they're going to put him back in the world title scene. So I think it would probably be him to win. Could be wrong on that one, though, because, like, either go the other way. Well, will this happen on pay-per-view as well? We don't know yet. We're way too far away from that from happening. Next one's in end of May, so.
Mm-hmm. You think it's possible MJF is the next world champion in AEW? Because I do. I think he's good enough now. I didn't think that he was before the CM Punk feud, but after everything he's done with Punk, seeing him on that type of level, it's like, yeah, I could see it.
Is he the guy to beat Adam Page?
Maybe.
Maybe. But, like, right now it's not shaping up like that.
We'll see. I mean, in the next few months, I don't think Hangman's losing the belt anytime soon. So I think it could happen. Coming up Friday on Rampage, an 11:30 start time. This will be a Rampage that I will not watch at all. I'll tell you this much. I'm not watching Rampage on Friday. Forget it. Darby Allin against The Butcher. Layla Hirsch against Red Velvet. Bear Country and Fuego del Sol against Aleister Black, Buddy Murphy, and the other guy. Brody King. And Keith Lee versus Max Caster. I mean, I'm always down to watch Darby Allin wrestle, so I'll try to catch his match. I'd like to see Max Caster's rap on Keith Lee. I think that'll be funny. So I guess I'll tune into some of this, but kind of surprised Fuego del Sol's on TV. Come on.
Well, I think they realized, again, it's 11:30 start time. most people will probably not watch this. So it doesn't really matter who they put on.
Yeah, I don't think anybody's going to be watching that show on Friday night, Rampage. But we'll be watching SmackDown, and we'll be on right after SmackDown. Doug Hepburn dropping a super chat. He says, $2.79 for a lock of Johnny's hair. Okay. Well, John, we'll send that hair off to Kingston, Ontario after the show. And there you go. There you go, Doug. John, we're selling your hair. All right? Nobody wants the notes. Nobody wants Dave's notes, but we are selling your hair, apparently. So I guess we'll have to send Doug some hair. Are you okay with that?
Hair that I've left behind there over the last couple of years, no?
Oh, that is so gross. Doug, you don't want it. I'm going to save you the trouble. We're not going to send it. We don't want you to go through that. The horror. You don't want to go through that trauma in your life. Thank you to Ray Cruz. Ray Cruz, you're the super chat leader of the night. Thank you, Ray. Thank you to Ray. Thank you to Brian Firth. Brian Firth, Ray Cruz, Doug Hepburn, Harold Schneider. Everybody super chatting tonight. Appreciate you guys. Dropping the super chats. Supporting the Ringside Report Network. We had a lot of problems tonight that were all Videotron's fault. All right?
Hopefully just tonight. Hopefully
yeah, I think it'll be just tonight. Nah, it's never really this problem has never been a problem before. Yeah, but the start of the show was kind of botched up, and then yeah, things happen. But eventually, over time, throughout the course of the night, we got through AEW Dynamite, John. We did it. We did it.
Huzzah.
Huzzah.
AJ likes it too.
Oh, thank you, AJ, for liking it. I'll be on with AJ tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern Time for Ringside Report MMA. Going to give you some more winning picks. Of course, Team Dave parlay won last week on the UFC Ankalaev Santos card. The week prior, Team Fred's parlay came through. And Doug Hepburn says, AJ, I'm dropping $5 on your UFC picks, AJ, because it's time for Team AJ to come through, right? Team Fred 2 weeks ago, Team Dave last week, picking parlays, winning money. And now AJ, he better come through this week or he will be the big loser of the show. So we don't want AJ to be the big loser. So he better come through with some good picks tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, to get you some wins, win you some money this weekend for the UFC Volkov versus Aspinall card in London. UFC going finally outside of that UFC Apex for a fight night card, London, England, coming up on Saturday. AJ thinks he's going to win. We'll see. I'm going to do a bunch of research for that card tomorrow, and then I will preview it for you tomorrow evening at 8 p.m. Eastern Time here on the Ringside Report Network. Whew. Thank you to everybody for sticking around with us tonight. I know we had some glitches, but hope we gave you a good show. Hope you enjoyed it. Thank you to the production team, bearing with me as always, trying to figure out what the hell's going on. And I think we're good now, right? Thank you to Johnny North, the big man. Thank you to me, especially me, for being so damn cool all the time. All right. How about it?
And everyone watching.
Yeah, everybody watching, of course. All the members, too. Doug Hepburn, Ray Cruz, Angelo Contagonis, Brian Firth, Rob Kloos, Harold Schneider. Everybody that checked in tonight, all the members. Appreciate you guys. If you're not a member yet, join.ringsidereport.net. Join.ringsidereport.net. All right? And I'll be back tomorrow at 8 p.m. for Ringside Report MMA. Thank you, Ray Cruz. You are the Super Chat leader of the night right here on the Ringside Report Network.